Hi, I'm Rabbi Zoot, and welcome back to the channel. In the past couple of weeks, we've started this conversation about how do we sell a better brand of Judaism and a better brand of religion in general in a world that continues to evolve while our religions and our Judaism have been slow to do the same. It's clearly an adaptive process because what we see through the evolution of religion in the grand scheme of history is that religion was used as a tool to achieve the highest goals for our spiritual needs. Our Judaism in particular is particularly excellent at looking at all the places in our lives where we know we need help, and Judaism has a way to solve that. What do we do when grief strikes us? It's a feeling too big to handle on our own, so we have a ritual that helps us handle grief. And that way, we're able to express the very normal human emotions that the rest of the world might not give us permission to experience. How do we mark time and we acknowledge and honor the change in seasons? Our calendar has a way to acknowledge that. Our calendar gives us the language for how to express the change of time and how we feel about that change. Well, the more we evolve into our history, the more we see that we don't give a lot of credit to those needs anymore. It's understandable when time seems to be speeding up. I've mentioned before, technology is working so quickly that we don't have the same breaks and pauses to catch our breath and to acknowledge where we are at any particular moment. And without that breath, we don't even notice we're missing something. We don't even notice that we're not getting out of our religion what we need to. All we wind up saying is, how is this relevant to me if it can't keep up with the speed of my regular life? What am I being offered? What's being added to my life if I have to do the work of stopping and giving space to something rather than getting the thing to adapt to my needs? Which brings us back to that essential question. What can religion, what can Judaism do for me to add something of value to my life? What are you offering Jewish institutions and communities that I don't get anywhere else? And I think we have answers. Oh, otherwise, why would I be doing this work? I think we have really good, compelling answers. And I want to share the best with you right now. I want you to think for a minute about all the spaces you occupy in your life. Think about your home. Think about your work. Think about your school. Think about the communal extracurriculars you participate in. Think about the mall and the grocery store and all the other places that have things going on. And I want you to think about all the social pressures that come with that. How much of the time do you spend preparing to go to those places, thinking about what is expected of you when you get there? When you think about what are you supposed to wear and how are you supposed to act and how are you supposed to treat people? We live in a world with ever-growing, ever-changing expectations, and it is overwhelming. Our young people report in high school and even younger than that it is a time of immense judgment. It is a time of immense social pressure. It is almost crushing to spend time in the modern world and see all of the places we're expected to live up to a level of expectation that we can't even wrap our heads around. Except not in my space. Because my goal is that in Jewish communities, they will be the one space where you never have to worry about how you're perceived. You never have to worry about what you're wearing or how you're behaving. All you have to worry about is there is a place in your life where you are loved, where you are cherished, where we're excited to see you, and we don't care when the last time we saw you was, as long as you're here now. That is such a rarity. And it's even too much of a rarity in our Jewish spaces, right? We assume that our religious institutions are going to do the same thing that our works and schools and other places do to us. We come in, I have people come into congregation all the time saying, sorry I wasn't here last week, I had a blah, blah, blah. I'm not taking attendance. That's not how it works. We're creating space where you can feel comfortable and at home because our world doesn't really allow for that nearly enough. There should be one space in your life where you're able to enter and say, I am not necessarily at my best, and you're going to love me anyway because I need to feel cared for. And that's my place. That's where religion steps in. That's where Judaism can be something of meaning to you. We get to be that space where you feel loved and included and welcomed. No context needed. Now, I did say you won't have to worry about your behavior. And there needs some qualification to that. That's the one little piece of context we got to talk about. Because the one place that doesn't extend is the way we treat others. You can't come into Jewish space and be mean or cruel to others. That's not how it works. Because at the most fundamental, when you take away another person's right to come into the space and feel no judgment, when you take away their right to feel loved and included, that's when we see a problem. That's when we cross the line. But that should be a pretty easy line for us to see. If you're coming to services and the best you could do is to get dressed in a particular way, I believe getting dressed up for services, by the way, is one of the ways we make Shabbat special. That's how I like to celebrate. I have a sneaky belief that if other people were to use that time to prepare for Shabbat, it would help them. But if you weren't able to do that, I can't judge you for that. Shabbat is a need that you're seeing fulfilled. You're showing up, and isn't it amazing we get to be together? Isn't it amazing that we get to share this space and that you get to be seen like that this week? You can't come every night to Tuesday night religious school? Makes me sad. I wish you could be there because I like seeing you and I like having you in the building and I like engaging with you in that way. But you don't owe me. I owe you. I owe you a space where you can come in and feel cared for and feel like there's a place where you can just be you and be accepted for it no matter what. That's the goal of religion. That's the goal of Judaism. And anybody who tells you otherwise doesn't understand the value proposition that we bring to the table. We're starting to recraft what it means to engage in Jewish space and in religious space. And this is where we need to start. Synagogues and community centers and organizations need to be the single place in your life where you can feel cared for, acknowledged, and seen, no questions asked. And if they're not doing that, you get to be the one asking questions. What do I need to do to be acceptable for you? The answer is nothing. The answer is I, as the institutional leader, have to remember that you're excellent just the way you are, and that when you come into building, I'm lucky to have you there. And if I can do my work well, you'll feel lucky to be there because you'll feel like a person in a world that so often treats us just like cogs in a machine. I hope we can all find comfort in knowing that as community continues to erode in an ever more digital world, our Jewish institutions and our religious institutions in general are planting their feet in the floor and saying, no, we're going to craft sacred space. We're glad you're here, and you don't need to prove anything to us. If you like this content, feel free to join me on my website, rabbiamz.com, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks so much, and have a great day.